Hello, welcome. My name is Yanji Westfall. I'm a spokesperson for the Humanitree Foundation, and I welcome you today to witness one of the productions for the 11 Days of Global Unity, and one of the themes and some of the messages that people have created. And what we do as a Humanitree Foundation is we help people connect with the earth. And we do this in a way of having a person get planted like a tree, knee deep, for swaying and some watering. And each planting can be unique because we are a diverse humanity. So the full diversity of humanity with the common ground experience of getting our feet in the earth. Now, this is also very valuable for the sake of like releasing some trauma, or just having a healing moment and having a moment to breathe while being planted. And so, yes, we're here to share with you this production in all of its beauty, and we're very happy that you're here with us. And all the people worked very, very hard to put this on. And the trees, they're so happy that human beings are connecting with the earth. It is kind of like an addition to just planting trees. It is like planting the humans before planting the trees, so that our human consciousness can link back with the earth. So I hope you enjoy the show. And the trees are all in our hearts. So blessings.
It's not easy living on the res. And as a Native person, it's when you learn how to interconnect with everything around you, you find out that you're not lonely, that everything is connected to each other. And you learn how to accept things that you cannot change, and how to live with no expectation, like you raise your children not to expect a whole bunch of things, like toys and stuff, and throwing fits in the store and stuff like that. And I want. So if you teach them to learn to grow up just simple, and to learn to use their imagination, and if you teach them how to, with discipline, just to sit still without slapping your kid around, maybe, the kids would grow up with a much more different way than the Western world has conditioned us to be like. And so by learning to live simple too, we're also helping the earth, because we're not contributing to mass-produced oil and the need for a lot of things. If you're taught to live with the earth, you learn how to take care of food, how to dry food, how to grow food. So that's how we can contribute as a human being to this world, is just learning how to accept and learning how not to live with expectation. So then as you grow up, you don't have to unlearn all those things and spend another 40 years how to undo the damage, undo the conditioning damage that the Western world has taught us how to live. And maybe we could survive as people if all people learn how to just accept things as simple as they can, and know that every time we go shopping in those malls and just getting stuff that we don't need and whatever, we're contributing to mass production of things. And because they're mass producing or whatever, they use a bunch of chemicals in the foods. They feed a lot of the animals with chemicals in the foods, and the reason why they do all that is because they want their crop to make it, so they can go to sell, and they have to feed a lot of people, so that's why things are the way they are. So here on Pine Ridge, a lot of people we get commodities and whatever, but because of the way we're living now, people are getting sick. So if we learn how to live in a natural way and eat naturally from the earth, and return back to the buffalo and learn how to just be mindful in the things that we do and how we live, maybe we're going to survive. We help each other out here. Somebody needs something, pass it on, If they need something, go help them. That's how we do things. But now that this disease has come among the people or whatever, it makes it hard. Remember, as children, our houses were made from wood, from the trees, from our first expression of how we felt among the trees as children. Our homes were built from wood in the trees. We were always connected from birth. We returned back to the fires and learned how our old ways were. Even the frames we built our hides were from wood. My dancing stick, I have a relationship with. You have to when you pray and you do a stick. And our grandparents, they lived and they built their lodges from the trees, connected to the earth and the human. This is the boarding school days. This is a representation of the old days I was proud to do. We come back around. We learn the old ways of life. Sometimes it's hard, but we have to keep on going and ride. I learned how to live like the old way of life, and it made me happy. I visited the places I visited as a child. The trees are still standing. Our canoes are made out of trees. So we learn how to ride hard. Even our prayer instruments are made from trees. And the cradle boards, the cradles are made from different trees. Our teepees are made from different poles, and each pole has a meaning. In the earth is connects to human also. Even our meat are dried on wood and from the trees. We standing in a wooden house, nice and warm, and even our frames are made from wood. Even my paintings are made from handmade structures, always connected to the trees. My grandparents, she lived by a 7-mile road out in their country. I wouldn't get a chance to meet the people that I've met if it wasn't for returning back to the old ways and coming and making a journey. I wouldn't have learned how to be a good Indian again. Sickness brought me to this part of my life to learn how to respect and love nature, how to paint it and express it in my art. And as I stood here with a blanket, I remember how it is to smell the smoke, remember the fires.
How does it make you feel?
Always.
It's hot, thirsty now.
Good. We're hoping he makes it.
It's hot here. What did you experience?
That it was a new and interesting experience.
Okay. Well, thank you for helping me do this. And we'll see how it comes out. I know it's really hot up here, so
What's it like being planted like a tree?
Very unstable. We're not sturdy as a tree, so wobbling.
planting the human into the earth before we plant the tree. And as we plant the human into the earth, because we come from the earth, we should kind of meditate on what a tree feels like as they're standing there in the earth. And the meditation goes something like this. When Valerie was 12 years old, I went into the woods and they were gone to school, and I thought I made a mistake. What am I doing out here in the middle of nowhere? And so I went and I picked the biggest pine tree I could find, and I sat by it, and I leaned up against it, and I fell asleep, and suddenly I was sucked into the tree, and then I felt the tree, but its consciousness was different than a human being's. Its consciousness roamed from the tips of the branches to the bottom of the roots. And I could taste and I could smell the earth and how it felt, the tree, how it felt. And then I could go to the very tips of the leaves and feel the leaves. And my consciousness didn't have the consciousness like a human. The consciousness was one of pureness. It had no hate, it had no anger, it had no fear, it had no sadness. It just had happiness. And each tree had a song. And when it came to the earth. So it's like the human being, when it's first created in its mother, Tunkashla comes and there's a song for that newest life form. And Tunkashla gives that song to that baby, and because he loves the baby, that new life, so much, just like it does a tree. So if we can imagine that we're standing there and we become that tree, how it feels and how the pureness of the heart of the tree is, and how it's willing sometimes to give its life so that humans can survive. But they also have songs that they sing, and if you listen carefully, sometimes if you spend some time out with the tree, it will sing for you. It'll talk to you, because some manifest as like a male, and some manifest like a female. But they are just very, very happy, and the wind is connected somehow very, very close to the trees. And our ancestors talked to those trees. When the wind comes, you can hear the trees. They make a certain noise. So in Anishinaabe language, it's called Sisikwadi, and it means the talking trees, and how the trees talk, and how the wind and the ancestors know this. And some of them don't know it when they're alive, but they find out when they cross over that everything is connected. Everything is interconnected. Everything has a feeling, and whatever we do to us as human beings, we do to everything else that's alive. So our negativity is manifested somehow with trees. They feel it. They have feelings. It's scientifically proven that trees are sentient beings, that they actually feel. And they all actually respond, and so does water. Water responds in a very beautiful way, but it also responds in a very kind of abstract kind of designs. It's proven that water changes. It's you can see that it's unhappy, but when it feels good, and you sing to the water, then it becomes like pure, beautiful like snowflake designs. So everything is connected. So the tree is a part of you, inside of you, and inside of Mama there. She has a tree on her back there. Our lungs are in the shape of a tree. The placenta of the baby is in the shape of a tree. Many things in our bodies are just a mirror into the universe of what we actually are. We have rivers and mountains, and we have the sun. The sun is the fire in our heart, And when we get real happy, we have that fire rise inside of us, that fire. But then some people have an angry fire that they manifest. You okay? Oh, you didn't hurt yourself, did you? Okay. Does the dirt hurt your foot? Okay. All right. So we got to 6 minutes. We can go 4 more minutes. Can you go 4 more minutes? No?
We need to at least make it a little bit bigger. Can you not film us making it bigger? I can't stand.
Okay, make it a little bigger then. Remember the old ones. Remember the TP teachings of our old way of life. Remember as a child how you played among the trees. Remember the ancestors, how they survived out in the prairie in harsh weather. Remember the love and the teachings of your grandparents. So here we got some chinchasha, making my own tobacco mix. It's more pure. When you have good intention, you put it in at tobacco, you make it really nice and sweet, and the ancestors, when you smoke it, love it, and I do my best to do it so that everyone should get their own tobacco and put their good intention in it if they're going to use tobacco in ceremony or whatever you're going to use it for. Even if you use it just to smoke or whatever, it's a lot healthier. It's definitely because regular tobacco gags me. That's processed because it's got too much carcinogens and chemicals in it. It's really not good for the human body. But here you have is you take the green part off the inner bark of the red willow, and here is the outside of the red willow. So here I'll let Renee help me here, and I'll show you. Go ahead. Come on. Come on. Come on. Right. So this is the inner bark of the chinchasha, and this part I could do a little bit more. I would get away from the bowl because I'm not going to smoke that. And he said, "What do you do with the red part of it?" Well, you could use it for smoke too, but if you wanted to, if it was a different type of bark or whatever, and you could strip it off, you could actually make stuff with it, like rope or baskets or something. But the only ones I know that you can do that with that works really good is ash. So what I'm going to do is also I'm going to add something else to this tobacco mix that's really nice, really sweet, and that is using some plum willows, and I'm going to use regular choke cherry willows, and it gives off a really nice sweet taste. You could actually add bayberry, and then you can actually add whatever else you want in your tobacco mix too. But like I said, it snowed. It was supposed to thunder, but it didn't come. Instead, the snow came. So little winter is still hanging on. But that's good because it's still purifying the ground, the air. So they'll come in due time. But it gives me enough time if I'm going to go back out and get some more. Now, the real willows you pick before the thunders actually come. The plum and the choke cherry, you can pick at other times. I've actually smoked just plain plum inner bark and plain choke cherry bark. So you could do that too. So I'm taking the red part off. Try not to make this a long video because then it takes a lot of memory up. And of course, if you see here too on this red willow here, some of the what do you call it, invasive types of fungus or rot is coming on this tree itself too. I really don't want to really pick that part. I mean, be careful what you get, and I really don't want to. Let me see what's under here. Let me pick that part off and see. No, it's as you can tell, it's becoming. It's really dark brown. It's fibrous, and that's just that's the mold that's under it, and it's killing the tree. If you can see,
You don't want that in your smoke. Definitely not. So that's dark. It's dark and fibrous, and you don't want that in your smoke. So I'm just taking that part off. What you want is the green part right here. So I showed you that part. Now I'm going to show you how you just take the green off. And I'm going to put it in my bowl. That's a little bit of residue from the outer bark, but that's okay. And I'm just peeling it off right here. Put it in the bowl. Hopefully it's going to fall there. Alright, here we go. When I say I treat my trees around my home. I got choke cherries, I have plum trees, and I check them for the fungus that's growing on them trees. And I cut it off, and then I painted it so that the rot or the fungus doesn't grow on the trees, because it'll kill the tree eventually. And you might have that problem someplace else where you are. Sometimes good years, sometimes bad years. I think it depends on the rain too, on the mold.
Yeah.
Okay.
5-minute video. Talking about having this in your memory a lifetime, that maybe you do it on a certain day and time this year, 2020, and you live 20, 30, 40 years from now, you always remember that event. Planting a tree with yourself. I planted a World Peace Tree back in Austria years ago, and we went to go see it, and it grew up quite a bit because it was only about 2 inches thick. Now, when we went to visit, it was about 6 or 7. So it's still there for peace. So when we're thinking about the fires, fire is natural. And the Australians, I was in Australia, the Aborigines, they set fires to burn the grass to control the way nature is. They work with nature. But the fires that we see today has a lot to do with the way it's managed by the county, city, state. In other words, the governing bodies and the forest or whatever. Some of the fires are man-made by careless people, some are lightning by nature. But as a whole, a lot of the fires have a lot to do with the zoning and ordinance and the way cities and counties and states are dealing with it. And it's more that responsibility. In other words, it gets out of control, not so much because nature gets out of control, but humankind itself has a contributing factor in that. And the loss of the trees, animals, plants, everything that goes with the forest is part of us, of wildlife.
Do you think it's important for us to plant trees then? Everybody should be planting trees globally, because now the loss of the forests.
We have that National Arbor Day and all this type of thing. But when you look at South America and the rainforest, they're not planting trees, they're cutting trees because they need to clear the land so they can grow animals, beef, so people can eat. And then they take the wood, harvest it, and sell it to build things. But that destroys a particular ecosystem because that rainforest contributes a lot to oxygen in there and the carbon footprint that's there. It absorbs carbon dioxide. So it's pretty hard, in a sense, to tell the world community, you got to do this or do that, because there's 190 countries out there and a lot of them aren't listening. It's not just the people here in the United States' responsibility. it's a global community responsibility. But then again, if you go out and start pushing this movement, you're considered an eco-imperialist. In other words, imposing a concept. But it is good to be able to, for young people, especially teenagers, to get in touch with physical reality like the earth, and like the plant life, and go through a ceremonial concept. Because a lot of people aren't spiritual, they don't know anything about ceremony. So planting a tree is good in that sense.
Go ahead.
Since 1970, I was in my early 20s.
So you're saying that the kids today are really not in touch with the earth because they're living a modern way of life. So do you think that by doing this kind of like exercise that we were doing as far as planting the human in the earth is a good exercise for people globally to be aware about our environment and what's going on, especially with now, the water, the tree fires, and what's your take on all that?
See, young people today, especially the ones that are rioting in the cities, and they live there, they're totally out of touch with reality. The reality that we live in terms of natural world. All right, so this concept to them probably wouldn't mean anything, in that sense, because they're totally unaware and unawake. And people that are more awake, more aware, more spiritual, a concept of touching nature is easily understood. And I've been doing this, working with nature for 50 years. I mean, it's nothing new to me. It's something we do in Native American church all the time in terms of contacting the oneness with all reality and creation. So the tree is part of that. And I've been teaching people that of the 7 elements, the 5th element is the plant life and the tree. And we have a Sundance tree, which is like representative of the tree of life. And the trees itself are essential because they give off oxygen. And we need that. And also, in a spiritual way, a tree connects with the center of the universe, the galaxy, the solar system, connects with the sun, connects with the center of the earth. So in other traditions, they might call that chi energy, but it's still a form of energy. So this concept of planting a tree, which is a form of life, and it's a different kind of consciousness, because it don't have a brain, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have a consciousness, because we define consciousness, somebody can think. But if you look at all these creations, the birds and everything, how do they even know how to do things? And they have their own thoughts. So there's a form of consciousness. And trees, we have fruit trees, all kinds of variety of trees. And the tree itself provides wood for sacred fire, so it's important. So when a person is able to take a tree, maybe from another spot, and replant it, and they're caring for it like they would care for a pet. In other words, as animistic culture, you kind of humanize the tree. In other words, you see it as a person. But we're animistic cultures as Native Americans, so we see everything as like Buddha taught that we're all interconnected to all creation. And for Native Americans, that's not new. It's been understood for hundreds and thousands of years.
Hello there, this is Yanji Westfall again, spokesperson for the Humanitary Movement. And I just wanted to say I hope you enjoyed this program that you just watched. And I really, really hope that you can join our movement, that your family, the people that you know. We have instructions actually how to do this safely on our website, the humanitaryfoundation.org, and so that you can do this in your own area, in your own way, and so thank you again also for the collaboration of all the organizations and all the people that helped put this together. And I just want to share with you one thing, that our vision is big. We believe in our humanity coming together, grounding in a fun way, and connecting with the earth, and connecting with ourselves, and connecting with each other, and really growing the world that we want to grow. This is the chance that we have, and it starts with us. Like the wise people have always said, is if you want to change the world, you need to change yourself. We found something that not only changes yourself, but changes everyone that tries it out, has an opportunity to change themselves. And together, we can grow this world of sustainability and a loving, sustainable future. And so, won't you join us? Join us and have some fun with us. And there is a really big vision that we'd love to share with you. So thank you very much. Have a beautiful day.